Hello, and welcome to our graduates, their families, and their friends. For those of you who do not know, my name is Will Shank, and I am the Associate Director of the Croft Institute for International Studies at the University of Mississippi. I hope you are all doing well. We still hope to celebrate with you in person, but before too much time passes, we would like to announce the awards normally given at graduation. This includes recognizing the graduates who exceeded our expectations for language proficiency, those who wrote outstanding theses, and those who achieved excellence in academics and public service. The challenges you faced because of the pandemic do not diminish what you have accomplished, but make it more laudable. Foreign language education is a cornerstone of our curriculum here at the Croft Institute. We have our students study their chosen language every semester they are in our program, and they all spend at least one semester studying in a country where that language is spoken. Consequently, we expect our seniors to achieve a high level of proficiency in their language, and in order to test them, we have them take the American Council of Teachers of Foreign Languages Oral Proficiency Interview, a 30-minute phone conversation that includes discussions of culture, current events, and role plays of stressful situations. Many of you experience the added stress of having your OPI proctored remotely, and I commend you for your perseverance in getting them done. This year, we have 12 students whose scores on the oral proficiency interview exceeded the expectations set by the Croft faculty. Monty Belk in Chinese, William Boyd in Spanish, Aaron Geist in Spanish, Patrick Hayes in Italian, Olivia Melvin in Chinese, Gabe Menchaca in Spanish, Ramel Mueller in Chinese, Christina Pendergrast in Spanish, Caleb Ray in Arabic, Colleen Shuford in Chinese, and Emily Wong in Arabic and Chinese. Congratulations. The Gerald M. Abdallah Prize is named for the chairman of the Joseph C. Bancroft Educational and Charitable Fund and CEO of Croft LLC. The prize recognizes the student who has maintained the highest overall grade point average while completing the International Studies major. This year's prize was awarded to Olivia George. Congratulations, Olivia. Named for Joseph C. Bancroft, the man whose generous gift made the Croft Institute possible, the Bancroft Award for Outstanding Academic and Public Service Achievement is given to a graduate who combines an outstanding record in public service with academic excellence. This year's recipient clearly meets these criteria. The student is a member of Phi Beta Kappa and Phi Kappa Phi, and was a Croft Senator, a Croft Ambassador, and a Global Ambassador for the University of Mississippi. She served as a RASA peer educator and volunteered to teach English while studying abroad in France, and French in an Oxford kindergarten class when she returned. She is a leader in the CISV International Organization for Youth, and even served as a DJ for Rebel Radio. Congratulations to Rachel Culp for being selected for the Bancroft Award for Outstanding Academic and Public Service Achievement. Along with the Bancroft Award, the Senior Thesis Prizes are the oldest honors given by the Croft Institute. Each award carries with it a monetary prize, and the winners' names will be added to the plaques that hang outside of the receptionist's office on the third floor of our building. We would like to recognize the students who wrote the best theses in each of our regional concentrations, and the one who wrote the best thesis that did a cross-regional analysis. The prize-winning thesis for each category is chosen by a committee of Croft professors specializing in that area. This year, we did not award a prize for the Middle Eastern region because none of the theses in that category obtained the necessary grade to be eligible. The first prize is for the best thesis written on an East Asian topic. The prize goes to Olivia George for her thesis K-pop, Digital Community and Mediated Intimacy, written under the direction of Dr. Sung-Chol Lee. Her third reader, Dr. Minju Oh, recorded a message to congratulate her.
Congratulations, Olivia. Every aspect of your paper shows that you deserve this award for the best East Asian thesis. It is beautifully written, theoretically rigorous, methodologically solid, and fun to read. I learned so much about the fame of the Korean boy band BTS, the frenzy and passionate fan activities, and how an intimacy is digitally established, cultivated, amplified, and directed. Your findings are timely and significant. Fans seek meaningful connections in a world systematically divided and excluded under a neoliberal system. And although these connections and intimacies are artificially cultivated and mediated by global capitalism, they give comfort and encouragement to these isolated fans. I met Olivia in 2017 when she applied for and received a Friedman internship and a critical language scholarship in Korea. She later took my identity and social theory classes. It has been a joy to have her as my student, where she has demonstrated insight and careful thinking. I was consistently impressed with her analysis and always looking forward to the writings of her thesis, which made the process easy and rewarding. Through this award, Olivia, we recognize your hard work and wish you much continued success.
The second prize is for the best thesis written on a European topic. The prize goes to Reagan Ketrow for her thesis, Cooperating for Charity, the Effect of Decentralization on French Associations. Her mentor, Dr. Joshua First, sent us these words of congratulations.
Hi, everyone. I wanted to say a few words about Reagan's thesis this year. It's been such a pleasure to work on what is in many ways a model Croft thesis. And I say that, first of all, because Reagan chose such an original topic to study. It's about, in case you haven't read it, it's about the legal, political, and economic framework of the nonprofit sector in comparative framework, looking in particular at France, but also alongside Germany and the United States. Now, second, this is a great thesis because Reagan engaged so productively with a single scholar's body of work and ultimately concluded that this scholar might have exaggerated the degree to which France was exceptional in its nonprofit sector. So, Reagan told me this great story during her defense, which I actually didn't know about the conclusion. So she'd been trying, and I knew about this, she had been trying to contact this scholar for almost a year using various methods of communication, using French, using English, but got no response. When she decided to follow up one last time with her results, questioning certain claims about French exceptionalism, this scholar finally responded to her, although of course with the insistence that she was still essentially correct. And that leads me to my final point about this thesis' excellence. Reagan consistently used her French language abilities to contact scholars like Dr. Archambault, who I just mentioned, in addition to the archives of institutions and nonprofits to try to verify certain data and access needed documents for her thesis. Unfortunately, many of these contacts proved less than fruitful, but her efforts, I think, count for a lot. And her bibliography is nonetheless still full of French language materials, French language sources. And for these reasons, for all three of these reasons, in addition to just the beautiful writing on display here, the competent quantitative work, the amount of evidence that she supplied, and just the amount of stuff that I learned by reading it. For all of these reasons, I want to say congratulations to Reagan for writing the best thesis on a European topic. Nice work.
The third prize is for the best thesis on a Latin American topic. The prize goes to Claire Williams for her thesis, Why Families Free, a study of family migration patterns from the Northern Triangle of Central America. Her mentor, Dr. Oliver Dinius, recorded a message to congratulate her.
Congratulations, Claire, for winning the prize for the best Latin American thesis. It was truly a pleasure to work with you on this extremely timely topic about family migration in the Northern Triangle of Central America. As it's often the case for Croft senior theses, the direction it would take was not at all clear at the very start of the semester, and it wasn't even clear that we would be working together on this project. I had agreed to work with Claire in the spring of 2019, when she listed her likely topic to be migration in the Southern Cone, potentially including Brazil, my country of expertise. When we sat down in August of 2019, Claire informed me that she had changed her topic and wanted to work instead on migration from Central America. This new focus came based on an internship she had completed that summer in Washington, D.C. with the NGO First Focus on Children, where she worked with the Director of Immigration Policy to track, research, and analyze federal immigration rules, court decisions, and legislation. Claire's switch of topic made complete sense, but it made me wonder whether she may benefit from working with a thesis advisor more focused on Central America. We explored her options, but ultimately decided to go ahead. And in retrospect, I'm very glad that we did. It was a pleasure to work with Claire. She would come extremely well prepared for our weekly meetings and ask me pointed questions, but she also knew when to ask my colleagues for suggestions on aspects of the topic that were beyond my expertise. Our meetings were intellectual exchanges in the best sense. I never had to micromanage her work. Instead, our conversations gave me the opportunity to suggest a new direction on particular methodological problems or challenges with the structure of the thesis. And the best part was that I could trust Claire to implement these suggestions competently and independently. The result of our work together, with important assists by her other readers, Dr. Guo and Dr. Jackson, is a thesis that I consider one of the best I've seen in my 15 years as mentor. It is methodologically rich, combining strong quantitative and qualitative sections. It uses foreign language sources extensively, something we strongly encourage for all Croft theses, and its writing is focused. I very much hope that Claire will have the opportunity in the future to turn the thesis into an article. Congratulations again.
The final prize is for a senior thesis with an inter-regional focus. The prize goes to Gabrielle Schust for her thesis, Who Will Do the Good Works? The Troubling Case of Secularization and the Failure of the Welfare State in England and Peru. Her mentor, Dr. Kate Centeus, offered this message of congratulations.
Hi, everyone, and it is my pleasure to congratulate Gabby Schust on winning the Best Interregional Thesis prize this year. Her thesis, for those of you who have not had the pleasure of reading it or being in touch with her as she excitedly discussed some of her interview data or her other trials and tribulations in terms of writing the thing, it's called Who Will Do the Good Works? The Troubling Case of Secularization and the Failure of the Welfare State in England and Peru. Throughout her thesis, which is beautifully written, compelling, nuanced, and deeply humane, Gabby relied on stories from interviews she conducted with religious women in both England and in Peru. So yes, that means she conducted interviews in both English and Spanish. Her thesis examined the role that religious women had played historically in providing social services to many, particularly underprivileged peoples in both Peru and England. And now that religious women's numbers are declining, the gaps that leaves even within a welfare state. I have lots, I could keep going on about this thesis, but instead I'm going to take this moment to maybe embarrass Gabby a little bit, hopefully not too bad. So Gabby was a participant in the Bolivia Field School in 2017, which I've referenced based on this virtual background of La Paz. So I'm not going to talk about 2017 too much, although we could go on and on about it. Instead, I want to point to something that I think really shows Gabby's careful attention to detail, her responsiveness to other people, and her ability to sustain a project, sustain connections across time and space. So last summer, when we were in the field with the field school in 2019, I posted a particular screenshot or a particular picture on Instagram. So I'm going to share it with you right now. So here it is. It's my son in a hammock playing on my iPad, dealing with altitude sickness. And I just wrote a quick caption, letting everyone know that I'd made it. Well, quickly, as you can see, Gabby pointed out, I was just in La Paz in May, and I believe I stayed in that same apartment. I recognized the hammock from the living room. So here, I think it's important. The reason I share this is because with that small shot, she recognized the place, reached out to me, told me about how wonderful the host was. And this, she just casually dropped it in that she had been in Bolivia in May, just shortly before we arrived, in between, you know, coming back from her extensive interviewing in Peru and studying abroad while thinking about her thesis. So this is something I find indicative of her ability to engage, to maintain connections, to maintain relationships, and persist with a project over multiple years. This bodes exceptionally well for her future. She's going to law school and to public health school for an MPH in North Carolina. And I can't wait to see what the future holds for her. Gabby is a brilliant, kind, compassionate young woman. And I am so pleased that she trusted me to help guide her in her thesis. Again, congratulations, Gabby. I can't wait to see where the future takes you.
Please join me in congratulating these students and all our graduates who completed their theses. Dr. Dinius, the Executive Director of the Croft Institute, will now introduce a special guest to announce the winner of the prize for the best overall thesis.
Thank you, Dr. Schenk, for guiding us through this part of the ceremony. And congratulations again to all the Croft Prize winners that have been announced thus far. You excelled academically through 4 years at the Croft Institute, and winning the Bancroft Prize, the Abdallah Prize, or one of the senior thesis prizes is a fitting award for your commitment and persistence. Your success would not be possible without the support of your mentors, who pushed you to revise your draft one more time to keep you on track, and I want to recognize them in the name of the Croft Institute. Celebrating the winning thesis prizes is also an opportunity to say thank you to all of the mentors of Croft Theses, to all of the second and third readers, and also to all fellow thesis writers who helped create the intellectual environment that allowed you to thrive and produce excellent work. One prize has not yet been announced, and that is the Terasawa Prize, the prize for the best overall thesis. It is named after Dr. Katsuaki Terasawa, the Associate Director of the Croft Institute from 1998 until his retirement in 2005. It is now my great pleasure to welcome Dr. Terasawa, who will first introduce himself and reflect on his time at the Croft Institute before we proceed to the eagerly awaited announcement of the Terasawa Prize winner 2020.
Professor Dinius, thank you for your kind introduction. I'm delighted to be part of this celebration. Congratulations, Croft graduates. As a teacher, I have a special place in my heart for the Croft Institute. I came to Oxford in 1998. Then my career was already well into its third act. Previously, I have taught at UCLA, Caltech, and the US Naval Postgraduate School. But I am not a pure academic. I served as a researcher at NASA's Jet Propulsion Lab and as a senior economist at the RAND Corporation. and as a consultant with USAID in Asia and Africa. But in my career, my time at the Croft Institute stands out because of the professional challenge I found in the newly created International Studies program and the caliber and character of Croft students, Crofties. I still remember my first week on the Oxford campus in 1998, when a student came up to me and said, "Professor Terasawa, welcome to Ole Miss." I was surprised and impressed by the young man's poise and confidence, not to mention his ability to correctly pronounce my last name. That moment was a wonderful introduction to Southern courtesy and hospitality. And it was first of many great experiences at the university. My original intention to spend 2 years in Oxford quickly became 7 delightful and deeply fulfilling years at Croft. Central to my time and experiences at Croft was Professor Michael Metcalf, the first executive director of the Institute. Professor Metcalf had an ambitious vision and great ideas for the newly created International Studies program. We often brainstormed about how to make Croft a unique institution among other established programs of its kind, which was not a trivial challenge. One aspect that stood out for me in that effort is the emphasis on rigorous, interdisciplinary thinking. Students would cultivate discernment, the ability to separate the wheat from the chaff. This emphasis, I believe, has been well reflected in students' thesis work, past and present, and their successes after graduation, and will shape their choices as citizens of the world. At Croft, I taught Introduction to International Studies, thesis writing, and economics. One of my favorite courses was Calculus, which might have been called Math for Poets. Professor Gerald Vasquez, then chair of the math department, and I worked together and taught this special course. Professor Vasquez often said that teaching of mathematics is not creation of a computing machine, but teaching students to become like Pascal's thinking reed. The class featured lots of puzzles, proofs, Lagrange method and constraint optimization, and PKE, public key encryption involving number theory. These classes were often punctuated with happy high fives when we got them right. We believe that the best learning comes from students' own initiatives. Teachers provide the spark for that process to start and continue. Our Math for Poets was harder than the typical calculus class. Much harder, I must add, but fitting for Croft students to become a thinking reed.
Thank you, Dr. Terasawa, for this introduction and the thoughtful comments on your own history at the Croft Institute. And now it's truly time to announce the winner of the 2020 Terasawa Prize. And for that, I hand it back to you.
I am pleased to announce Claire Williams as the winner of the 2020 Terasawa Prize. Congratulations, Claire. Claire's studies focus on family migration patterns from the Northern Triangle of Central America. Claire's mixed methods approach expertly highlights the migrant plight from the Northern Triangle. The quantitative analysis is superb. I understand that Claire purposely sought out being challenged by her advisor, Dr. Denius, and that she fully engaged and gained both expertise and perspective from her readers, Dr. Guo and Dr. Jackson. I love her passion that comes through her work, and that kept me thinking and reminded me of the role of international studies program in the United States. This is an extraordinary time to graduate from Croft, when the world is challenged by global crises. And experts assure us that more are expected. Claire's thesis states that population in the countryside, where livelihoods are more affected by weather, is more inclined for migration. Scientists believe that more extreme weather, be it drought or flood, are results of climate change, which is brought on almost entirely by the first world greenhouse gas emissions. Ironically, the heaviest consequences are borne by those who contributed the least emissions, developing countries. The choices that we make affect not only this generation, but future generations in a compounded fashion. I believe America should and will lead the way to provide solutions and meet our responsibilities and leadership obligations. Again, I congratulate Claire on her excellent thesis. I have no doubt her research will, as she says herself, quote, give justice and dignity to the migrant plight, unquote.
Thank you again, Dr. Terasawa, for making this announcement and for your reflections on the current state of the world. Let me congratulate again all of the graduates of 2020, and in particular those who were recognized in this special program. Thank you very much.